what is up. It takes less than 2 hours a day. It takes less than 2 hours a day to build the business that is going to make you well over 6 figures a year, probably eventually 7 figures even. And I think this is kind of what not that many people are talking about. There's guys like Dan Coe who are talking about that 2-hour writer and stuff, and it's all awesome stuff. And he's kind of right. I'm not really a daily writer always, but I want to share in this video, having built a 7-figure business, how it's kind of not realistic to be grinding 12 hours a day. Like everyone talks about, I talk about, like, you got to lock in, you got to be, so focused, and you got to be working all the time. And I kind of try to do that sometimes, but the reality is you don't have to. So what I want to share in this video are the needle moving things that you should do and you can do each and every day to actually move the needle. Because listen, I'm not that efficient. I get distracted. I'm on my phone. And I'm just like wasting a shit ton of time, a lot of the time. And you know what? I believe that a lot of successful people and the people you see on YouTube are the same, or the people you see on Twitter. A lot of these guys, they've just got a system. They've just got a way where they know the high leverage work and they get that done. Yes, there are people who really do lock in and work 12-hour days. I just don't believe it's true for most people. I don't believe it's true. I don't think you have to do that. I certainly have not done that. A lot of the time I tell myself I'm working and I'm kind of not. Now, if it's listening to podcasts or it's like you're still learning shit and you're sort of working, or you're, creatively dabbling, that counts. But in terms of actually like locking in, everyone's got to lock in, right? That's what it's all about. I'm locked in right now. I hope you are locked in this video, because this is the key right here. This is what you need to build your business, freedom, get the cash flowing in. This is the shit that you actually need to do. And I didn't even do this well, and I still managed to grow a 6-figure copywriting business and now a 7+ figure e-commerce brand. So, and I've paid for the courses. I paid a guy $20,000 for like copywriting coaching and to hear his approach to getting clients. And I've like well over $150,000 in courses and coaching, probably more than that now. So I'm not just making this shit up. Like I've listened to the people who are at the top of their game teaching this stuff, and then I've implemented it imperfectly, and I have not been able to stick to routines, and I've struggled, and I do improve and I do try. But if you're human like me and you struggle to stick to a routine, and you're like, I'm not locking in 10 hours a day, and even though I say I am, or even if I'm trying, this video is for you. I want to help you realize the needle moving things you need. So what do you actually need to do? What are the needle moving things? Here's the cool thing is you probably already know them. So if you're a freelancer, you need to do outreach, and you need to put your offer in front of new people. So if you're like doing copywriting or short form or YouTube, you need some system to get those messages in front of people. If you're doing kind of like the sniper approach, where it's super personalized and creative, and you don't want to just sound like one of these dorks on Twitter who's like, hey Ben, saw you commented on Alex Hormozi's post. I follow him too. It's like, that's BS personalization. You want to get really creative, find ways to, I call it warm, cold outreach, where you find like a kind of actual connection somehow, or that you say that you're into their brand, and like ideally you are actually into their brand. But I'm getting sidetracked. We could do another video on outreach and how to not be a loser when you do outreach. But those are the high leverage tasks that are going to get you a client. Like if you actually do 3 to 4 of those every day, or pretty much every day for like a few months, then you're gonna get results. You're gonna land a couple of clients for email copywriting or for SEO or for whatever it is, right? And how long does that take? 90 minutes. Maybe it takes an hour and a half or 2 hours tops. Maybe it takes 40 minutes, and then you could literally be done for the day. Now you could obviously do more, but that's the needle moving task. And you get 2, 3, 4 of those clients who pay you ideally at least $2,000 a month is very normal now. So you're at like 8K in like, I don't know, 16 weeks. I don't know why I'm talking in weeks, months. You're there in like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Like this is so very doable. It's just nobody really wants to do that. How long does it take? 90 minutes, 2 hours a day. So maybe it's content. And maybe you need to focus on that. And that's your thing, is like growing content. And even if you don't know how you're going to monetize it, but like the content would be just the same thing, 90 minutes, 2 hours focused a day. Ideally you have a plan, so you're not sitting down. Like my problem has always been, I don't know what I'm going to be writing about or what I'm going to be doing the video about. So I'm just like wasting time and I don't have a system. So having a system or setting yourself up for success the day before, like that does help. So like sometimes I sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to write an email. This is what my needle moving work looks like, by the way. Typically it's write an email or make some new ads or do like whatever that task is. Maybe it's setting up a new pop-up, or it's adjusting a flow or adding it's adjusting an email flow in Klaviyo, because it's high leverage. You set it once, it can make you thousands of dollars, right? But it doesn't take that long. And then all the other stuff is just all the like, okay, I need to check in with this people, meetings. And there's lots more shit I should do, but I'm just talking about, even right now for me, 60, 90 minutes of high sort of performance work does the trick. Like, is that ideal? Is that what everybody's like talking about? No, but it does the trick. And so what about you? Maybe you want to get into e-com. You could make 2 Facebook ads every day. Like even if you're not testing them, even the act of like making the images in Canva or making short form videos, you could make 2 TikToks a day if you're doing TikTok shop or something like that. You know, it just comes down to boiling the high leverage thing down, boiling the task down to the high leverage components, and then doing those, then do the lock in on that, and do that for the 4 or 6 months. So I think that's pretty much it for this video. If you're feeling lost and overwhelmed and you're like, gosh, it's not working for me, what's the secret? I'm telling you that after doing a lot like these programs and it's basically just committing to that, at least a little bit of that intensity over a long enough time period. I did this super imperfectly for like 5 years, so it took me forever to start getting results. But it didn't have to take that long. If I had that focus, it could have been there sooner. This is easier with something like outreach, because it's just, okay, the idea is sign a client, and then it's like, you don't have to be as creative about it. If it's something like content and building a personal brand, that can be a little more tricky, because I think that is a challenge when you don't have as much of a project, so your content is the project, so you can get discouraged, I think. But that's why I think you should, maybe in those cases, there's a topic that you're documenting and you're sharing the lessons you learned or something like that. I don't know. I always struggled with building a personal brand when I wasn't doing shit. Like I wanted to start a YouTube channel. It was self-improvement, which is fine, but I just kind of felt like it felt not very fulfilling because I didn't have a project. Now I have a real business, which makes me feel, maybe I'm insecure. Makes me feel better about sharing content like this because I'm actually doing shit. And then I want to do this on the side and share the lessons and stuff. So this is super unpolished. This is not the sexy client acquisition strategy, but this is it, guys. It's for also learning a skill. Like if you're trying to learn something, you could do this with whatever skill you're trying to learn. I'm trying to think of one nugget to leave you with. But it depends on what you're doing. So in this video, it's I'm using freelancing as the example. You could do this with a bit of background noise here. You could do this with, you could try to write a new landing page every day, or learn to build landing pages for e-com stores. There's all kinds of different ways to implement this, but the important thing is that you actually just accept that you don't have to be perfect every day, but just put in that hour, put in that 2 hours, and it won't feel like it at first, but that will move you forward. So that's the vid. Drop a like, drop a comment, drop a question. Peace.